The wind howled across the open Wyoming plains as the noon sun burned white across the sky. Dust swirled in slow circles over the gravel road that led straight to Hunter McCall's ranch, a place known for two things: the best cattle in the territory, and the loneliest rancher for 100 miles. Hunter wasn't the kind of man who smiled. He wasn't the kind who talked much either. Years of war, loss, and land disputes had carved hard lines into his face. But this morning, as he saddled his horse and glanced toward the distant railroad station, there was something behind his stern eyes, something almost like hope. Because today, his mail-order bride was supposed to arrive. He hadn't asked for romance. Just someone who wouldn't leave. Someone who might bring warmth back into that cold, silent house. But when he reached the station, what he found turned every drop of blood inside him to ice. The train screeched to a stop, steel screaming against steel. Hunter scanned the passengers stepping down, searching for a face he barely knew, only a photograph and two letters. Then he saw her, a young woman, clutching a single battered suitcase. Her dress torn at the sleeve. Her cheeks swollen and purple. A thin cut near her lip. A bruise circling her wrist like a man's grip had been there too long. Her name was Emily Carter, and she looked like she had been through hell. Hunter stepped forward, boots hitting the dirt with force. "Emma?" he asked. She flinched so hard she nearly dropped her bag. "Yes," she whispered, voice trembling. "Are you, Mr. McCall?" He nodded once. Then his jaw tightened, fists clenched as his eyes locked on the bruises. "Who did this to you?" he demanded. Her eyes darted down the track, terrified. "Please, I can't talk here." Hunter didn't hesitate. He reached down, picked up her suitcase with one hand, touched her elbow with the other, and said in a voice low and absolute, "You're coming with me. No train porter, no stranger, no threat would take her again. Not today. Not ever." The ride back was silent except for the creak of the wagon and the wind whipping over the prairie. Emma sat stiffly, like she expected someone to jump out and drag her back. Hunter watched her from the corner of his eye. She looked exhausted, starved, and scared of her own shadow. "You're safe now," he finally said. She swallowed hard. "Safe doesn't last long for girls like me." Hunter looked at her. Really looked. She wasn't just bruised. She was broken from the inside. He guided the horses up the hill toward his ranch. The house stood tall, weather-beaten but strong. Like him. Like he hoped she could be one day. As he helped her down from the wagon, she hesitated at the front steps. "You sure you want me here?" she asked quietly. Hunter met her eyes, steady and calm. "I sent for a wife," he said, "but right now, what you need is protection." Inside. She nodded, unable to argue. Emma barely spoke for the first 2 days. Hunter didn't force her. He cooked her meals, left blankets by the fire, and kept the doors locked at night, something she seemed oddly grateful for. Finally, on the third evening, she broke. She sat at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a cup of tea, staring at the wood grain like it held her nightmares. "There was a man on the train," she whispered. "Not someone I knew. He picked me out because I looked alone. He said a girl traveling alone was fair game. I tried to fight him but..." Her voice cracked. "The conductor?" Hunter asked carefully. "He didn't care," she said. People looked away. No one helped. Hunter's jaw flexed. A storm began brewing in his chest. "And before the train?" he asked. Emma hesitated. "My uncle," she said softly. "The one who arranged the marriage. He said if I didn't leave, he'd make me." Hunter closed his eyes, breathing deep through his fury. "No one's touching you again," he said. But she shook her head. "You don't know him. He'll come if he learns where I am." Hunter's eyes turned dark and certain. Let him come, he said. He'll regret it. Days turned into a week. Emma slowly warmed. Hunter fixed the broken porch steps to stop her from tripping. She mended a few of his shirts with careful hands. He taught her how to feed the horses, how to carry hay, how to call the goats when they wandered too far. One morning, she laughed, actually laughed, when a baby calf tried to nibble on her skirt. Hunter froze. It was the sweetest sound he'd heard in years. Bit by bit, she became part of the ranch. Part of him, though he never said it out loud. Then, the peace broke. It was a cold sunset when Hunter saw the rider approaching from the ridge, a stranger with a crooked hat and a long coat. Emma was in the barn brushing a mare. Hunter stepped outside, hand resting on the gun at his hip. The rider stopped 10 feet away, sneering. You the man who took my property? He spat. Hunter's blood turned molten. She's not property, he growled. The man smirked. She owes me. She ran from my house, stole money. Emma's voice rang out behind them. That's a lie. She stepped out, shaking but brave. You tried to sell me. She cried. To a man twice my age. I ran because you would have killed me. Her uncle laughed. Girl, you always were a liar. He reached for her wrist. Hunter stepped between them like a wall of iron. You touch her, Hunter warned, and I'll bury you right here. The uncle's eyes narrowed. We'll see what the law says. Hunter didn't blink. Then let's ask the sheriff. The uncle paused. He wasn't expecting that, because law in the Wild West didn't always favor men who treated women like animals. So instead, he spat at the ground. This ain't over. Then he rode off. But Hunter knew men like that never left quietly. It happened 3 nights later. Emma woke to the smell of smoke. Hunter burst into her room. Get up. Now. The barn was in flames. Fire roaring into the sky, animals crying out, the night lit red. Emma gasped. Her uncle. Hunter rushed into the flames, coughing, dragging out horses one by one. Emma pulled buckets of water, her hands shaking but determined. Then she saw him, her uncle, standing at the fence line holding a burning torch. You should have stayed obedient, he shouted. Hunter charged toward him. The uncle flung the torch, but Hunter slammed him to the ground. They fought hard, brutal, fists cracking bone, boots slamming into dirt. You won't hurt her again. Hunter roared. The uncle grabbed a knife, swinging for Hunter's throat. Emma screamed. Hunter blocked the strike, twisted the man's wrist. The knife fell, and the sheriff, called by a neighbor who saw the fire, arrived just in time to drag the uncle away. He's done, Sheriff Briggs said. He'll see jail for the fire, the assault, and for crossing state lines to claim a woman-like property. Emma trembled. Hunter wrapped his coat around her shoulders. You're safe, he whispered. This time, she believed him. The barn was half burned, but the ranch stood strong. Emma stood with Hunter as the sheriff's wagon disappeared into the night. You saved me, she whispered. Hunter turned to her. No, he said gently. You saved yourself. You just needed someone who gave a damn. Her eyes softened. I want to stay, she said. Not because I'm supposed to, but because I feel safe here. With you. Hunter's breath hitched. He'd been called many things. Rancher, soldier, loner. But never safety. You can stay, he said, voice rough. For as long as you want. She stepped closer, placing her hand against his chest, right over his heartbeat. Then I want forever, she whispered. Hunter lifted her chin with a calloused hand. You sure? He asked softly. She nodded. And there, under the smoke-stained sky, with flames dying behind them and dawn breaking ahead, Hunter kissed her, slow, gentle, everything she had never been given before. Ending. The rancher who wouldn't let her break. Emma found more than a home. She found a life she chose. And Hunter found something he never thought he deserved. Love that healed. Love that stayed. Love that fought back. Together, they rebuilt the barn, the ranch, and each other. And in the Wild West, that made them the strongest pair the frontier ever saw. If you want, I can also create